Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. Just tapping in with y'all to currently discuss what's going on in the boxing world, man. We're gonna talk about Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman being official, according to reports. We're going to talk about Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte, Jaron Ennis versus Uisma Lima. Then, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's in the building thus far. If y'all can go ahead and hit the like button and get the algorithm on the up so that people know that Mazuma TV is live, that'd be very much appreciated. Let me make sure this shit work right here, man. I'm going to do a little test real quick, y'all. Very much appreciated. Let me see something. Let me make sure this shit work right here. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Let me see. Maybe if I share. Nah, ain't gonna work. Shout out to everybody that's in the building so far, man. I got some very good news. My son had actually made the top 10 toddler of the year. For the toddler of the year competition, man, he has officially broken into the top 10. Man, this is an international competition, so he's went up against thousands of kids, you know what I mean, in the country. He's made it to the top 10 in his group. You feel what I mean? So this week coming up, he's actually going to be hitting into the top 5 competition, man. That's going to be definitely tough. But with you guys' support, you know what I mean? With over 3K subscribers, there's no reason why he can't, you know what I mean, make it pass. So for those of y'all who see the link right there, man, please, man, vote for my son, bro. This is very meaningful to me, my family, you know what I mean, all of his supporters. If y'all can go ahead and get them free votes in, it's free. It's not going to cost you nothing, especially if you got a Facebook account. You know what I mean? You verify through Facebook just to make sure that the competition is fair. We'll put them free votes in for me, man. Because he was at 4th place. Unfortunately, he dropped to 5th place. I haven't been really getting the support that I was in the beginning. So it's all about, you know what I mean, just making sure that, you know what I mean, he solidifies his standing, man. I want to see how far he could take it, man. Maybe he could get 1st place. You never know. But, you know what I mean, for the 11 people that's in the building, if we was to get 11 votes, that could put him in a completely different position. That would be very helpful, man. So if y'all could do that, please do me that favor. And if you would like to donate to the Toys for Tots, charity, that's available on there as well. $10 will give you 10 votes. You feel what I'm saying? I had people donate $25, $30, $50. Appreciate that very much, man. We got some good things going on. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Smoochie in the building. She said, hey, Mark, I'm going to be honest and say I got Thurman via KO. Okay. Shout out to Smoochie. Steer a hook in the building. He says, Mazuma, do you think fighters or people in general who flex their money are cocky, bad people? I'm not going to say that they bad people because they flash and something that they work hard for. That's not really the issue. I just think that people who put money above things that, money can't buy, I find issue with, those type of people that put money over love and family, things like that, happiness. I can't really get along with those type of people. So I'm not going to necessarily say you a bad person for, flexing your money and all that, but you can come across as cocky. You feel me? And I don't really like to deal with those type of people, but I'm not going to run around and say that they're a bad person. You feel what I mean? They working hard for their money just like everybody else. And you can do whatever you want to do with your money, but I choose to stay away from people who indulge in them type of activities, to be honest with you. I mean, that type shit make me cringe for real. Elijah Soul, what up? Oscar De La Pace, what up? John McSmith, what up? Oscar De La Pace said he gonna vote, man. Salute to my boy Oscar De La Pace for supporting the dream. You feel what I'm saying? If my son come out at the top of this competition, man, this will be the almighty blessing. You feel me? Y'all go ahead and get them votes in. Coffee Plant, get them votes. John McSmith, Elijah Soul, Steer a Hook, Smoochie. Come on, y'all. Let's get these votes in, man. You know, we also on a mission of 4K. You feel me? We well into the 3,100 mark. You feel me? We about to hit that mid 3,100 mark in due time. You feel me? If I can get 4K by the end of the year, that'll be lovely. You feel me? Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out, shout out, shout out. You feel me? So let's actually bring this up right here. I had made a soundboard, but for some reason, the soundboard isn't really working. Let me see. For I don't know. But whatever. We'll figure that out another time. It ain't that deep. What is going on? Let's actually bring this up right here. We definitely gonna get into these conversations. I ain't gonna lie though, it's been pretty hard, staying motivated with the content. You feel me? Ain't really been much going on. It's like we almost gotta wait. We gotta sit here and wait for that Canelo and Bud fight to happen to really get shit popping. Sheesh. But anyways, let's pull this up right here. I ran out of my vitamin energy, man. I need to go back to the gym and get some more. Shout out to Vitamin Energy. Let me go ahead and share this for the people to see. Agent 86, what up? Chef Josh, what up? What's going on? What's going on? For those of y'all who just got in the building, man, please vote for my son for Tyler of the Year. He just cracked the top 10. And next week, they're going to be doing the top 5 competition. And I do not want my son to lose this contest. You know what I'm saying? So let's get these votes in, man. If y'all truly support Mazuma TV, y'all fuck with me as a person, go ahead and get that done for me, man. I would really appreciate that. And I would do the same for y'all. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, we all about the babies. You feel me? Let's see. So I'm gonna share this right here for y'all to see. This is the Ring Magazine's latest post that had came out about this situation about 6 hours ago. And the Ring Magazine is reporting that Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman have a deal in place to meet for Fundora's WBC junior middleweight title on October 25th at Las Vegas's MGM Grand, a source told Mike Coppinger. The fight will headline a PBC on Prime pay-per-view. Thurman, 36, will look to become a 2-division world champion. This is breaking news from Mike Coppinger, who, you know what I mean, he doesn't get necessarily everything right from what I've seen historically. However, he is a pretty credible source just with, some things that he's put out that actually came out to be a reality as well. So, I'm gonna take Mike Coppinger's word for it. You know what I mean? I think he did talk to some credible people behind the scenes, and if he was confident to put this out there, then it must be some truth to it. So that's what it's looking like, man. So I did upload a video earlier, man. That shit didn't even upload in time. Unfortunately, it was very frustrating. However, that was before this news had even got confirmed. So kind of glad in the way that it didn't upload. So I'm gonna give you guys my reaction to this whole situation right now. I've seen a lot of people criticizing Keith Thurman a little bit before this, due to the fact that he had turned down the Virgil Ortiz fight, who is currently the WBC interim champion as of right now. You see what I mean? He said he had turned down the fight, and people was talking about, damn, what is Keith Thurman doing? But with this situation currently ongoing, I think that Keith Thurman made the right move with what was presented in front of him. I think that him fighting Virgil Ortiz would have been a very dangerous fight, in my opinion, a more dangerous fight than Sebastian Fundora, just based off of the styles. And it wouldn't have had as much on the line. You know what I'm saying? Would you rather fight the WBC interim champion, or would you rather fight the WBC full status champion? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. You feel me? Like, if I was Keith Thurman in that situation, would I want to possibly win the interim belt or possibly win the full status belt? Because that's the thing. If you win the interim belt, it'll probably put you in a situation where you can fight for the full status belt anyway. So why fight for the interim when you can just get the belt right then and there, or possibly get the belt right then and there? And this the other thing. If he actually wins the interim, it's like, okay, how is that going to put him in a big money position? Most likely it isn't. But if you get the WBC title for real, now you're talking about You know what I mean? Setting yourself up for some bigger fights, bigger paydays. And we all know that's what Keith Thurman is about. You know what I'm saying? Tim Bradley had a famous quote saying that, Keith Thurman is a mercenary. And I thought that was one of the most accurate things that Tim Bradley has ever said when talking about boxing. You feel me? So, look, Keith Thurman, he definitely skipped the line. I don't think he's personally deserving of this shot against Sebastian Fundora. I think that there were many contenders in the 154-pound division that could have been more worthy. But, that's how PBC be moving, y'all. You know what I mean? That's how PBC be moving. They like to do their things in-house. They don't really like to do business with other networks. You feel what I mean? They like to keep their money inside and, just make money amongst each other. They don't really like splitting them checks down the middle. You know what I mean? Or splitting up percentages in terms of profit or whatever the case is. So it ain't necessarily a surprise. You feel what I mean? It ain't a surprise at all. It's just crazy to me that Keith Thurman getting opportunities over the WBC interim champion Virgil Ortiz. You feel what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie, man. Whoever handling Virgil Ortiz, because I seen this interview he had did with Ak and Barack, whatever the fuck their names are. No disrespect to them. I just don't be remembering their names. But he says that he's pretty hands off on the business side. I heard Virgil Ortiz say that. I never heard a fighter say that, because Andre Ward asked that question a lot on his Art of War segment. He was like, "Are you somebody that just accepts whatever money they offer you, or do you really be fighting to get every dollar that you can?" And most fighters say, I'm hands on with the business. I try to get every dollar I can. Not Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz be sitting around and telling us how he let his managers handle the money, and you know what I'm saying. He's hands off with the business. He just lets them do whatever they want to do. Bro, Virgil, let this be a warning sign to you, brother. You need to be more hands-on with your business. You need to stop being so laid back. You need to stop just worrying about boxing, because at the end of the day, once you get to a certain status in boxing, or at least when you're attempting to get into a certain position in boxing, you got to put your business head on and you got to fight for your position in the game. You feel what I mean? You got to fight for the biggest person that you could get. You know what I mean? You damn near was contemplating retirement because you were struggling with your health issues, bro. You should have woke up right then and there. But since you've been at 154 pounds, you know what I mean? You got some good names under your belt. You beat Bohachuk, you beat Mazuma, but you haven't been in position to ultimately fight for a world title. And to be honest with you, it's been long overdue on your side, brother. It's been long overdue on your side. I think Virgil Ortiz could personally beat Sebastian Fundora, but why is Golden Boy, why is his management, you know what I mean, whoever the hell's in charge of, steering his career in the right path, why are they not able to get him in a position where he's fighting for the WBC Super Welterweight title of the world? Why is Keith Thurman, somebody who been sitting on the couch for these past couple years, has only had a handful of fights within the last 5 to 6 years, why is he the one, after fighting an absolute bum and Brock Jarvis over there in Australia, is the one that's going to be, fighting for the WBC title when Virgil been on the sidelines just clamoring for our opportunity? I don't understand this shit. Xander Zayas came into the division as young as he is, and he got a world title before you did. And I could tell you was frustrated, Virgil, because you went on that rant on social media talking about how, basically how you falling victim to the politics of boxing. You feel what I mean? You got Turk Al-Sheikh backing you. Your promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, is collabing with Turk Al-Sheikh to get you a part of these fights. Why are they not fighting for you to be in this position to be fighting Sebastian Fundora? To be honest with you, it shouldn't be Keith. It should be you fighting Sebastian. So what is really going on? What is really going on, man? I'm not gonna lie, this is embarrassing. Then when I'm hearing Virgil talk about how he's hands off with the business and he just lets them do their job and he doesn't really worry about the business side, bro. You need to worry about the business side. You need to worry about the business side, for seriously. Because the more you fall back off of this situation, you're gonna continue to let these dudes fuck these opportunities up for you. You know what I'm saying? And by the time you actually fight for a title or whatever, you know what I mean? Boxing is a small window. You might not have it how you did in your earlier years, man. You feel what I'm saying? Then they talking about, so what's the good? What they over here discussing public dollars with you on there? What's like 2 million? Is 2 million good for you? Nah, that's a little low. Okay, how about 4 to 5? Yeah, that's ballpark. I don't really like to deal with those type of things. And, nigga, that's your money. What you mean you don't care about those things? I talk to my manager about that, man. I don't really like to handle those things. What? the hell? What are we even talking about, Virgil? Stop being lazy. Stop being irresponsible. Be on top of your fucking dollars, man. Pay attention to your business moves, brother. And start putting pressure on these guys to put you in position to fight because they dropping the ball, man. They dropping the ball crazy. Bro, I'm talking about Boost might fuck around and have a belt before him too. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised how the way they moving over there at Golden Boy. Golden Boy, really some of the scariest money in the sport of boxing, bro. Bro, like, look at what they did. You know, every time that these guys, every time they had a guy, they just steered them so slowly along. Like, they don't never want to put them in positions to be great. You know what I mean? Just try to keep them undefeated, and then when they demand is at an all-time high, they cash them out. Like, look how the way they was moving Jaime Munguia, bro. Jaime Munguia fought turkey after turkey after turkey after turkey until he got that fight with motherfucking Canelo Alvarez. You feel what I'm saying? And then once they can, then as soon as they got that Canelo fight for Jaime Munguia got the fuck up out of there. William Cepeda, they did everything in their power to keep him away from Shakur Stevenson. Just keep beating up on bums, keep beating up on bums, keep beating up on bums. And it took Turkey Al-Sheikh to cash them niggas out to consider taking the fight. You know, Floyd Schofield, you know, when he was about to fight Shakur Stevenson at that one point in time, Oscar De La Hoya literally told him through DM, why, man, you don't need that Shakur Stevenson fight right now. Why take that fight right now when we could keep you undefeated for this long and blah, blah, blah. And Floyd Schofield had to tell De La Hoya, bro, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit you talking about. Make the fight and put pressure on them to make the fight happen. These dudes at Golden Boy, bro, they do a serious disservice towards their guys. And it's very confusing because watching Oscar De La Hoya came up, all he did was take chances. So he should know in his head, and he also lost a lot of fights. A lot of big fights. He should know that just because you take a loss in your professional career don't mean that you fuck the money up or your story is over. Because every time De La Hoya lost, he bounced back. He lost to Tito Trinidad. He lost to Shane Mosley. He lost to Floyd Mayweather. Still was able to be relevant in the sport of boxing and be one of the biggest draws. So I don't understand why he doesn't take that philosophy or that lesson that he learned in the pros and bring it over to the promotional side. He really, like, I never seen somebody who took so many chances in their career like Oscar De La Hoya turn into a promoter and then be scared to roll the dice. So you willing to roll the dice on yourself, but not your fighters. What you signing them for then if you don't believe in them, you know, in the long run? I don't be understanding how the way Golden Boy be moving, man. That's a serious disappointment in all honesty, man. Virgil Ortiz should have, if not be a world champion, he should have been somebody who actually challenged for a world title. He said, shit, for real, they fucked up with Cepeda too. They probably could have got Baranchek before Keyshawn. He might have been because William Cepeda was ranked in every sanctioning body, and he was like a top contender in each one before, you know, he fought Shakur. And Oscar De La Hoya was even flaunting that. He was like, oh, my fighter's so badass. He's ranked in every sanctioning body. You know, he's a high-rate contender in every sanctioning body, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to let nobody decide who we going to fight. Nobody going to decide which route we going to take. Whole time, Turkey Al-Sheikh give y'all a check, and y'all like, oh, never mind. Let's just take the WBC route. Like, what the fuck? He could have easily been like, yo, we pressing the WBO route. We going to fight Dennis Baranchek. And that might have, man, that might have been the better move because then he could have fought Shakur Stevenson in the unification fight, and we could have got one step closer to lightweight supremacy. You feel me? And, you know, Keyshawn Davis got that WBO title, but that shit didn't really it wasn't even worth him winning it for real, because in his next fight, he missed weight and get stripped of his belt anyway. That was a waste of time. L-Dub, what up? What up, L-Dub? What's going on? So, he said Cepeda was the undisputed mandatory facts. At that point in time, he was. Yes, but, you know, Golden Boy be moving really cautious. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They give me the type vibes where I feel like they scared to take chances with their fighters. That's just how I be thinking personally. Salute to Bug Williams, for sure. That boy be out here moving like Nostradamus out here in these streets. Love what he do. I love what he do for boxing talk, man. For real, for real. He be in the building. Let me see. And Ryan and Tank only happened because Ryan wanted it. Oscar De La Hoya didn't want that fight. That's a fact. I remember they asked him who would win between Tank and Ryan. This nigga said Tank. And he was promoting Ryan at the time. I see why Ryan don't like De La Hoya. He disrespectful. Yeah, I mean, even if you truly feel like that, you should never say that as a promoter, that somebody outside of your promotional stable could be somebody in your promotional stable. You should never say that. He could have just been like, oh, man, that's a great fight, man. That could go either way. Or, that's a great fight, man. Tank is really talented. But, I got a great fighter, and, we'll figure that out later down the line. Something like that. Shit is crazy. I don't be understanding this shit, bro. That just lets you know how scary De La Hoya is, though. He don't believe in none of his guys like how he believed in himself. You feel me? It's sad. What's going on? What's going on? Let me see. So, yeah, that's basically, my thoughts on the whole Keith Thurman, Sebastian Fundora situation. Me personally, I think it's a fight that's dangerous for both guys. You know what I mean? For one, this is a dangerous fight for Keith Thurman. Lamont, hey, what up? This is a dangerous fight for Keith Thurman, just considering the fact that he hasn't faced nobody like Sebastian Fundora. He hasn't faced a 6'6" fighter who's going to be punching down on him. And usually when you punching down, the shots are more devastating. Also, he's a more youthful, more active fighter than Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman's his activity, his lack of activity could be a serious disadvantage going into this fight. You know what I mean? Because your tool is going to have to be sharp to really dismantle somebody like Sebastian Fundora, who don't mind taking chances, applies pressure, applies volume punching, you know what I mean? And, isn't just going to be he's not going to be tucking his tail no time soon. You know what I mean? To beat somebody like Sebastian Fundora, or at least knock him out, you're going to have to put that motherfucker out his senses, because I done seen Sebastian Fundora get his ass whooped, and he ain't got no hoe in his blood, bro. You're going to have to spark a motherfucker like Sebastian Fundora. You feel me? So with the type of abilities that Sebastian Fundora has, and what Keith Thurman is lacking at this point in time, which is youth and activity, this could be a really tough fight for Keith Thurman. And if Keith Thurman legs isn't underneath him how they were, years prior, you know what I mean? He might have trouble closing the gap against Sebastian Fundora. He might be missing, and he might run into some shots from Fundora as well. And Fundora, I've been watching. He's been working on his range. That could be a serious problem for Keith Thurman. You feel me? Now, this is a fight that could also be dangerous for, Sebastian Fundora. Just off of the fact that Keith Thurman's championship level experience, you know what I mean? That could definitely help him. Keith Thurman, he doesn't mind using his legs for 12 rounds. That could give Sebastian Fundora some problems as well. Because I've noticed Sebastian Fundora, he'll pretty much walk into an enemy's perimeter without even using a jab and run into some shots as a result of that. You know what I mean? He gives up his height at times, and he likes to fight on the inside, whatever the case is. That could benefit a smaller Keith Thurman, who may not, who may be more successful at fighting on the inside because he has, the shorter arms. You feel what I'm saying? Keith Thurman also got some sneaky punch. He got some good punching power too. They called him one time for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He might. So if he's able to neutralize Sebastian Fundora's volume, keep Sebastian Fundora's feet moving, and pop his shots and lets his shots off, hit him with some good shit and then step around him, he could have a good he could have a good fight. You know what I mean? He could have a good chance of winning. But me personally, looking at this fight, I do have Sebastian Fundora as the favorite in this fight, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. And I seen Smoochie in the building saying that she got Keith Thurman by KO, and it's possible. We seen Sebastian Fundora get sparked before, y'all. You feel what I mean? So it's definitely possible. But at the same time, there's a lot of shit that's going against Keith Thurman in this situation. I think a lot of people ain't taking into consideration his age, which was written right here in this post. This man is 36 years old, extremely inactive, injury prone for one. You know what I mean? He seemed like he can't stay healthy to save his life. And he's not fully acclimated to the 154 pound division. This man was a career welterweight. He just made his move up to 154 pounds against Brock Jarvis, who was not a legit 154 pound fighter himself. So who's to say that he has any experience at 154 whatsoever? Nobody. Nobody could say he got experience at 154. That one fight he had wasn't against a true junior middleweight. He's going to be in there with one now who happens to be the size of an NBA motherfucking shooting guard with an 80-inch reach. That's insane, bro. And he has an 11-inch reach advantage. And if Sebastian Fundora decides to use his range and put volume behind his range, Keith Thurman may be in some trouble, y'all. if Sebastian Fundora keeps Keith Thurman on the outside and is applying combination punching while Keith Thurman's at the end of his punches, this could be a very bad night for Keith. I can see why Keith is confident. I think he's somebody who really believes in his skills. I think in his mind that he has a superior ring IQ, and that's what he's going to be looking to prove the night of the fight. I highly doubt he's going to be trying to get any type of exchanges with Sebastian Fundora, fighting on the inside. I think Keith Thurman is going to be using his legs, you know what I mean, popping his jab, and whenever, you know, Sebastian Fundora attempts to, you know, close the gap or whatever the case is, Keith Thurman going to be letting them bombs off. You feel me? That's what I think. But I think Sebastian Fundora's pressure, the pace at which he fights at, I think that's gonna be very harmful to an inactive Keith Thurman. Just me personally. That's what I see happening. And bro, if Keith Thurman was to get drowned in rounds 10 or 11, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I would not be surprised at all. But Keith Thurman does have good enough punching power where if he were to hit Sebastian Fundora on the chin, he could probably switch up the whole trajectory of the fight. So I think that this fight is going to go down to how much Keith Thurman has left in the tank. You know what I mean? If he has a lot left in the tank, you know what I mean? His legs are underneath him. You know, he's still fast, sharp, explosive. He could give Sebastian Fundora some problems. But if that inactivity done caught up and that age done caught up as well, and, you know, his body ain't healing up properly and all that bullshit, he could be in serious trouble. I'm telling you, Ralph, if Fundora keeps Keith Thurman on the outside, and when Keith Thurman, because, you know, Keith Thurman like to lunge into punches and shit, whenever he's, you know, being unorthodox or attempting to be explosive. If he overcommits on a punch while Sebastian Fundora keeps him on the outside, Fundora could place a good shot that could get Keith attention. And that's the thing. Keith Thurman don't take the best shot, y'all, to the body or the head. I can name you fights where he got buzzed up top. I could give you fights where I could show you multiple fights where he done got hurt to the body. Luis Collazo, Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao, even seen Sean Porter hurt him to the body. You feel what I'm saying? I seen him get, who was it? I think when he fought Soto Carras, he was on Queer Street when he got hit with a shot. I think he ended up coming back and stopping Carras anyway. But like, I seen this man get hurt to the head multiple times. Now you're going up against a legit 154 who's 6'6" with an 80-inch reach and has good enough power to stun you with a shot. I think it was Jesus Soto Carras. He definitely did. I remember he hurt Keith to the head with a shot, with a good shot. I think it was on I think that's when people was first starting to get to know Thurman. I remember that shit. And that's another thing. That's another great point, Ralph. Keith Thurman's body language is terrible when he gets hurt. And Sebastian Fundora ain't the worst finisher. So Keith Thurman going to have to fight a really good fight to beat somebody like Fundora, man. He's going to have to fight a really good fight. This the thing. I think it'll be smart for Sebastian Fundora to see. This is what I'm thinking, right? From a coach's perspective. Fundora should definitely start the fight at range. Hold on, y'all. Niggas ain't getting me for copyrights. Every day some new shit. Beefing with my bitch, man. Life still lit. Nah, y'all ain't about to be doing that. Shout out to G Herbo though. Nah, we ain't getting demonetized coffee. Chill. Don't say that. Don't say the D word. Pause. Don't say that. Anyways, the fuck was I saying? I think it'll be smart for Sebastian Fundora to start the fight at range. You know what I mean? Because if he's able to frustrate Keith from the outside, it'll give Keith no choice but to come inside. Right? So he could put that style out there initially, get Keith to come in, and then once he come in, he could fight his fight how he usually do. And I ain't gonna lie, if they get into a firefight, I got Fundora. If they get into a firefight, bro, where they both hitting each other, I trust Fundora more. I trust Fundora more. If they get the shooting out this bitch, I trust Fundora. Fundora done been through the fire and made it out that motherfucker. He done been in the fire and got burnt. Brian Mendoza. I seen this man get put in the fire and come out unscathed. Erickson Lubin, motherfucking Tim Zoo. Trying to tell you, and I feel like Fundora is getting more confident with each fight. You feel me? I think him getting that world title made him more confident. Do the knowledge, nigga. Yeah. I had this motherfucking soundboard together, man, but for some reason I can't get that shit to operate how I want it to. Let me see. You say, yeah, what? Let me see. See some. Let me see. Let me know if y'all can hear this shit.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Y'all hear that shit? I hope y'all can hear it, man. Why are you running? Yeah.
Get out!
Yo, I'm a child for real.
Do the knowledge, nigga.
You're.
Shit.
Oh shit. Do the knowledge, nigga. GMO, he says the day Boots fight Fundora will be the time Cowboys win the Super Bowl. Damn. That boy just caught a stray. The Cowboys just caught a stray, man. Yeah, you right, man. Fuck the Cowboys, man. One of my fighters, Cowboys fan, that shit pisses me off. He lucky I fuck with him, dog. Lucky I don't take football that serious. One thing I can't stand is a goddamn Cowboys fan. Now, if you from Dallas, that makes sense. But it be the niggas from Philly that be Cowboys fans that blow my mind. Like, bro, y'all niggas do anything to be the devil's advocate. Y'all niggas do anything to stand out. Shit is corny. You are a loser, nigga. And my pop used to be a Cowboys fan. That shit used to fry me. I'm like, how, nigga? Bro, Philly got so many Cowboys fans. It's insane. Go Birds, facts. But anyways, man, I ain't gonna lie. I really don't care to talk about Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. You feel me? I just want to see the fight, to be honest with you. Jaron Ennis versus Uisma Lima. We had already spoke about that multiple times. So, yeah, I mean, this might be a short live, to be honest with you. So what we talking about, man? What we talking about? What's on the people's mind? What's on them people's mind? Uppercut KO, enough said. ETC Boxer said we got Cowgirls, Redskins, and Giants fans. Ain't that some shit? That's crazy, bro. We definitely got Giants fans. I know that for a fact because next door to my mom crib was this old head named William, man. Shout out to William, man. My boy pushing 90 years old. Fucking Giants fan. Jesus Christ. Redskins. I don't really know Redskins fans in Philly though. It'd be Cowboys fans that be standing out, and that's wild to me. I know some Charger fans. I was like, Chargers. Who else? The Jets. The Saints. And then, but it's the Cowboys fans that be frying me. Niggas definitely be going against the grain. Shit crazy. Raymond Ford versus Abraham Nova. What's y'all thoughts on it? I seen Raymond Ford talking a little spicy on there. Bro, Raymond Ford is hilarious to me, bro. I don't know what it is. Like, he don't think much of anybody. I think that's what it is about Raymond Ford that make me laugh, bro. Like, nothing is impressive to him. Like, he don't be feeling none of these niggas, bro. Like, he look like he don't even be wanting to be up on that stage half the time. It's like he a little rude motherfucker, man. He always be wiping his face like he just woke up. He be like, nah, man, like, I'm gonna show him the difference. I'm like, bro, this nigga Ray Ford do not give a fuck, bro. He just want to rumble. I respect the shit. I ain't gonna lie. He been showing out ever since he got to 132. Now, Abraham Nova, on the other hand, he's strong. You know what I mean? From what I've seen, he put good pressure and stuff like that. He can fight a little bit, but I think Raymond Ford's speed. I think he's a lot sharper than Abraham Nova. No disrespect, but I think he's a lot sharper than Abraham Nova. I can see him really putting the beats on Abraham Nova. Raymond Ford seems really abrasive when he talks about his contemporaries dismissing his ops. This nigga said Ray Beltran. Nah, but I know what you meant. Raymond Ford. Yeah, he don't think much of anybody, bro. That should just be hilarious. Let me see if I could pull that shit up real quick. I seen they had their little words back and forth. Let me see. Well, Abraham Nova talking like he confident too. You feel me? Like he not getting too much into it with Ray Ford, but at the same time, like he letting Ray Ford know that he there. Let me see. I personally think Ray Ford going to do him dirty though. That's just me. Raymond Ford actually got a YouTube channel when he be recording his training camps. I feel like those need to be publicized more though, man. Like, look at one of his quotes. Sucks, it had to be you. He told Thomas Matisse that shit. Sucks, it had to be you. Like, bro, his confidence be through the roof, dog. You a funny motherfucker, bro. I'm gonna try to see if I can get Raymond Ford on here. So this is a Raymond Ford quote right here. He said he damn near beat O'Shaquie Foster. And that's the guy I've been calling out. It motivates me to go in there and really put a beating on Nova. He kind of got to take O'Shaquie's ass whooping a little bit. Yo. That's hilarious. He do not care, bro. Lamont A says, "Yo, Mazuma, you think Moses overrated or just right where he needed to be?" Well, I think that he looks very promising, and I think that's how he's passing the eye test thus far, right? Moses Itauma hasn't faced anybody too big of a name or anything. I think that I think that he's getting a lot of praise for what he could potentially be. You know what I'm saying? I think that people looking at him like the goods, pretty much how they looking at Abdullah Mason right now. I think Abdullah Mason has, shown a little bit more than Moses at this point, in my opinion. But regardless, I think what they have in common is that they're both passing the eye test. They both look very promising in the futures of their divisions. So they getting praise from that perspective. I don't think a lot of fans are jumping out the window and saying that Moses Itauma is the best heavyweight in the world right now. I don't think nobody's saying that about Abdullah Mason right now. I think they're getting a lot of praise. There's a lot of good things being said about them. And their stock is on the rise. So that's what I personally think it is. So I'm not going to say that Moses is overrated. I think that he looks very promising and he has potential to be a world champion. And I think other people notice that as well. And I think that's why he's getting the praise that he receives. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily equate a lot of praise to somebody being overrated. There's people that you could get praise for different reasons. You could be praised because, people look at you as like the future. And when you want to climb up when you like climbing your way to the top, everybody wants to support you. Is when you get to the top. That's when motherfuckers, start shooting their criticisms at you and stuff like that. So to answer your question, Lamont, I don't think Moses is overrated at all. I think he is where he needs to be, and I think he's being moved properly on his journey to becoming a heavyweight champion of the world. I think he can do it. I just think that, I think who he needs to not listen to is Turki Al-Sheikh. You feel me? Like for Turki Al-Sheikh to come out here and be like, Moses Itauma versus Usyk, that's the fight. Like, bro, Usyk retiring next year, from what I understand. He got 1 or 2 more fights left. You know that. So you trying to throw Moses in there before Usyk retire? You setting that kid up for failure. Moses looks like the goods. He looks very promising. But I don't think he beating no Alexander Usyk right now. It's like you want that. You trying to stun this kid's growth. What are we doing? And it could be a situation like Canelo Floyd where, Canelo lost to Floyd, but then he became much bigger later on. But there's also situations where guys lose early on in their careers and they never get that spark back. So why even take that chance? I don't know. I wouldn't take that chance right now. I would not be listening to Turki Al-Sheikh right now. Let me see. Hold on. My screen brightness just went down. All right, we good. Turkey don't know boxing, bro. He treating this shit like Fight Night Facts. Turkey don't know shit about boxing. That's a fact. He's just a nigga with money that's supporting the sport of boxing. He said Sebastian Fundora is a circus attraction. I don't think he a circus attraction, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like I think Sebastian Fundora, he's solid. I don't think he's the best at 154. I think that he's been put in some, great positions at 154 to be who he is. I think he's a product of good matchmaking as well. And they're very calculated with how the way they matchmake Fundora. You feel me? But I'm not gonna say that he a circus attraction. Because when he whooped Erickson Lubin, bro, I was like, all right. I mean, I can't be playing with his name no more. You feel me? That motherfucker Fundora punched on Lubin, bro. I was dead ass on some shit where I was like, damn. I was like, all right, you got it, bro.
I understand it now.
I was like, yo, I get it, bro. Trust me, I get it. Fundora, Rock'em Sock'em Robot. He definitely come across that way. He definitely come across that way, man. It just so happens that this motherfucking Rock'em Sock'em Robot be getting the best of niggas at times. Shit, like he done experienced both sides of the coin. He done got sparked and he done sparked niggas. But like he made Tim Zoo quit, bro. Tim Zoo was pushing all this old school fighter bullshit, and bro, he sat in that corner and said, "Nope." I was like, "What?" To be real, Fundora ruined Tim Zoo's career. Ruined it. All with an elbow. That elbow was the downfall of Tim Zoo's career, bro. That motherfucker ain't been the same since then. Had niggas feeling himself. They had niggas. Tim Zoo was feeling himself after that Joey Spencer fight, and Fundora reminded that nigga who he was. Crazy. You had Lubin winning. ETC Boxer said Tim was talking about should have killed me the first time and asked for mercy in the rematch. He damn near killed you the first time, Tim, because you was bleeding out brutally. I'm surprised you made it out the ring without passing out. All that blood you lost, bro. You almost lost as much blood as Badu Jack. When he what was that? The Marcus Brown fight? Shit. I heard what you're saying, Anonymous, but I think that first Fundora fight affected Tim Zoo psychologically, bro. Like, when that elbow made its impact, bro, and that injury occurred, that's something that really scarred Tim Zoo mentally. And I knew that because when he had gotten an exchange with Bakram, I think they had a headbutt. And I don't know if y'all remember that. The first thing he did was touch his scalp and look. He went like this. And look, I was like, oh yeah, that's been haunting him. That's the first thing he did, bro. I was like, wow, like you not locked in at all. That's something that's a real concern of yours. And the fight went how it went. They brought him back in the mix with Joey Spencer. Joey Spencer's career is very disappointing because he had a hell of an amateur background. I don't know what the fuck happened. But yeah, man. I think he wasn't the same psychologically since then. First thing he did, bro, he went. I said, yeah, that shit. Yeah, he's scarred. ETC Boxing, you said you got a channel too. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to ETC Boxing, y'all. He be on with Tego. Damn, Tego ain't never tried to join my live shit. Damn, that's crazy. Tego be on Twitter chopping it up. All that good shit, man. He don't even want to join the live. Ain't that some shit? Can Keith upset Fundora in your opinion? Ghost, I already had spoke about it, but I'll clarify it for you since you're my brother, man. You feel me? Keith Thurman definitely has the ability to upset Fundora. It just depends to me as to it depends on what Keith Thurman has left at this point in his career. You know, if Keith Thurman's feet are still underneath him, if he still has that athleticism, if he still has that punching power, and if he's able to make Fundora, reach or overextend and fall victim to the counter punching rule, I think he can. But like I said, I think there's going to be an uphill battle for Keith Thurman because, for one, he's not a real 154-pound fighter. He's been inactive. You know what I mean? And he's older and he's injury prone, man. So when you inactive and you're going up against an active fighter like Fundora who don't mind letting his hands go and fights at a high work rate, that might be something that may exhaust Keith Thurman, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a psychological standpoint. You feel me? That could be an exhausting fight mentally just as much as it is physically. Fundora is not an easy opponent to deal with. You could beat him, you could knock him out. We've seen that. But he's gonna give just about anybody a difficult fight. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I think Keith Thurman could upset Sebastian Fundora, but do I think it happens? No, I actually think Sebastian Fundora defeats Keith Thurman. But if Keith Thurman defeats Sebastian Fundora, you know what I mean? He becomes a name again. And now you got to mention him with the big fights at 154 moving on. Now we might actually see a Keith Thurman, Jaron Ennis. We might see a Jermell Charlo versus Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? We might see a Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman now. You feel me? You say, I'm going to join up next time you got guest up. Shit. Yeah, I got you. I got you, bro. You just let me know. We gonna make when we got something to actually talk about, I'll bring you up, brother. Right now, this is just me tapping in with my people. That's all. Shit kind of slow right now. We ain't gonna have nothing really popping for real till next month. I mean, we gonna have something to talk about. Errol versus Virgil next, I heard. Nah, no way. No way. Errol better not come back off of that layoff and that brutal loss to a Virgil Ortiz. Hell no. Errol just asking to get put in the retirement. If he, in my opinion, if he fight Virgil Ortiz coming back off of that fight. Errol talking about he don't do tune-ups and all that. You're going to need to do one, brother. You're going to need to do one, brother. Like, that type loss you took, you should not be coming back into no fights, no tough fights anytime soon. Errol Spence need to go fight like 2-3 fights before he even think about fighting somebody like Virgil. That's a very dangerous style to come back off of a damn near 2-year layoff. Shit, how long has it been? Salute from Michigan. Shout out to the boy Eddie Alvarez showing love from Michigan. Shout out to my Detroit brothers and all that. You feel me? Is Danny Garcia 154? Yeah, but Danny Garcia already got something lined up. Apparently, he's going to headline a card on his own promotional, under his own promotional company. And from what I understood, Danny Garcia said he doing his last fight and then he retiring. You feel me? Danny Garcia said he didn't want to end his career that way, which was the Erislandy Lara fight that he got stopped in or whatever the case is. And he said he was looking at he said he want to do one more fight and then he gonna call it wraps. And I agree with Danny Garcia, man. Danny Garcia did a great he had a great career. Unified champion, 2-division world champion, he got a hell of a resume, beat notable guy after notable guy. You know what I mean? Like, he has a lot of memorable moments in boxing. I loved his Amir Khan performance where he was the underdog and came out on top, sparked Amir Khan. I love the Lucas Matisse fight because a lot of people thought Matisse was going to beat Danny, and Lucas Matisse was like that scary motherfucker at 140, and he showed that Matisse ain't who he said he was. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Danny done did a lot of great shit in boxing, bro. He beat some good people. You feel what I mean? But I think that Danny Garcia fell victim to, first of all, I think he was just satisfied. He had a shit ton of money. I mean, he wasn't as hungry as he used to be. That happens. That's natural. And then on top of that, I think the inactivity killed Danny's career too. Just sitting around waiting for Al Heyman to give him a call. I think that shit costed him. Anonymous says, I still want that Spence versus Castano fight. It's literally perfect. Both guys got long layoffs and both challenged for undisputed in their last fight. And they both took some punishment. So, yeah, I actually like that fight. I do like that fight. And that's a very exciting fight stylistically, too, because Castano, he a dog. He put pressure. He let his hands go. You feel what I mean? He relentless. And Errol Spence the same way. Errol Spence, he chop away at you. He try to break you. He try to beat you into submission. That's a great stylistic matchup. Where the fuck is Castano, though? Like, why is nobody Why is nobody even bringing him up? He was a top guy at 54, bro. Gave every nigga he fought hell. even the fight he lost with Jermell, he gave Jermell everything he was looking for. I ain't gonna lie though, man. I think Arrow is staying away for a reason, man. I think he's performing in a way that he's not liking. So, he preferred, if he know he can't perform that well, I honestly think Spence, I don't think he gonna come back, bro. I don't think he gonna come back. I think there's gonna be a silent retirement. If he come back, you know what I mean? I admit I'm wrong and shit, but I do not see that man coming back. And I think by the time he come back, he gonna be damaged goods. He gonna be washed. Earl just need to chill, bro. You went through that car accident. You know what I mean? You got eye injuries. You got retina problems and all that, bro. You made a shit ton of money. You did some historical shit in boxing. You fought for undisputed. You had 3 out of the 4 major belts at 47. You beat notable names. You gonna go down as a Hall of Famer, regardless of what Buzz say. You gonna go down as a Hall of Famer. Just leave it alone, bro. Ain't no point in taking unnecessary damage, bro. You're not gonna come back into boxing the fighter that you was when you fought Lamont and Kell Brook and even Sean Porter, and that shit is long gone. Fighters lose their fighting spirit. I think fighters maintain Eddie. I think that fighters maintain their fighting spirit. They just lose the ability, the abilities that made them dangerous. You feel me? Their hunger. You know what I mean? I think that once you're a fighter, you'll always be a fighter, which is why I don't believe you ever lose your fighting spirit. That's why motherfuckers like Shannon Briggs, let's go, champ. He's still trying to fight. That's why, Andre Ward, every 2 years, he over here talking about coming back and fighting somebody. That's why Roy Jones can't hang the gloves up. That's why Mike Tyson can't hang up the gloves. I genuinely believe your fighting spirit don't go anywhere. It's just your physical abilities that seem to fade out. You feel me? That's just what I think. If Castaño come back, he ain't gonna be the same neither. I think you might be totally right. We won't know until he comes back, if he ever comes back. But I tell you what, I think he got a lot more left in the tank than Errol Spence. He had one bad fight where he got stopped. Errol Spence coming off of alcoholism, which he said himself, car accidents where he flipped out of a Ferrari going at a high rate of speed and took a lot of damage. You know what I mean? A lot of neurological damage and shit like that. And a tough, bad beating against Terrence Crawford, one of the ass whoopings of the century. Who you think Shakur gonna fight next and when? Man, it's time for Shakur Stevenson to get a big fight, man. Like, I hope that Shakur could get like a Teofimo fight. I know that's far-fetched because of the shit that Teofimo Lopez got going on psychologically and just business-wise. But I want to see Shakur Stevenson in a big fight, bro. I'm sick of and I know it ain't been his fault with the Josh Padleys and shit like that. Remember he was about to fight Joe Cordina. Like I don't want to see any of that, bro. We need to see a big fight for Shakur Stevenson, and I feel like if he got to move up to 140 to get them opportunities, he need to go ahead and do it because, you know what I mean? He talked about how 135, I think he even said 135 overrated because don't nobody fight each other there. Well, if you genuinely feel like that and you looking for a challenge, you're going to have to go up to 40, brother. But I can't even answer. I mean, you could look at the WBC rankings and see who's available at lightweight. But to be honest with you, bro, I don't really see any fights being, interesting with Shakur outside of the big fights. And I've seen somebody say have him fight Javier Rivera. Why the fuck we want to see that? Why? Who asked for that? Andy Cruz is number 1 in the WBC. That's a good fight. You know what I'm saying? But that's about it at lightweight, to be honest with you. Don't nobody want to see Ricardo Nunez and Shakur fight. Rayo Venezuela, Joe Cordina at number 10, Abdullah at 12, Lucas Body at 15. Bro, we don't want to see that, bro. We don't. And for real, I don't even want to see. I don't even want to see. What's this motherfucking name? I don't even want to see the Andy Cruz fight yet because, if he beat Andy Cruz, they're gonna talk about how he ain't. You know what I mean? He inexperienced. What about Frank Martin? Well, Frank Martin at 40, so that just goes back to my point that if Shakur wants to get a big fight, he might have to go up to 40 to do so. Shakur versus Jermaine Ortiz. What has Jermaine Ortiz done since the Teofimo Lopez fight, y'all? Can anybody tell me? Has he done anything? I think he's fought since then. I remember him fighting since then, but like, where his momentum at? Yeah, like he beat a 24-9. He been fighting in Orlando since he lost. And Yomar Alamo. Okay. Now he about to fight Steve Claggett. T.O.'s leftovers. I don't know. Shakur versus Tito Mercado. Tito Mercado, I like Tito Mercado, obviously. He been on the channel and shit like that. But he need to go through a few steps before we even talk about him fight for a world title. He should fight Keyshawn Davis Stranger. You know they ain't happening. Every time they get brought up, they get mad. Talking about how they brothers when they not brothers. I don't give a fuck how long I've known somebody. My best friend been my best friend since I was 12 years old. My boy Justin. Shout out to Justin. We 27 now. We got 15 years in. Me personally, if niggas put up a big ass bag for us to fight, like 7-8 figures, I'm calling Justin. I'm like, yo, let's do this shit, bro. Fuck all. I know we best friends and all that, and nigga, if you love me how you say, like, if you really my fucking homie, like, if you really my brother, if you really love me, like how, you know what I mean, you say you do, let's rumble. It's not even like a discussion for me. Now, if y'all blood brothers, like the Charlo brothers and the Klitschko brothers, I can understand why y'all don't fight each other. You know what I mean? Y'all motherfuckers came out the same womb. You know what I mean? And that type of fight could really do some damage to your family. And like I say, not all money, good money. You feel what I'm saying? But if it's a nigga that you just grew up with, what the fuck is we even talking about? Nigga, let's fight. Nigga, you crazy? What are we even talking about? For real, though. Especially if they talking about motherfucking 10 million. Shit. We gonna get that shit popping. 10 million. Shit. Gonna get that shit cracking. G Tatted Up TV, what up? ETC Boxing, what up? Bro, here y'all niggas go talking about Duran defeating Sugar Ray Leonard and all that shit, bro. Duran defeating Sugar Ray Leonard is more difficult. Yeah, I'm gonna say Duran defeating Sugar Ray Leonard is more difficult than Crawford defeating Canelo Alvarez. You know why? Because when Duran beat Sugar Ray Leonard, he was actually at his peak. You know what I mean? He was going up against a Sugar Ray Leonard that was, at the top of his game and as dangerous as he probably could ever be. You know what I mean? And he caught Ray Leonard slipping, to be honest with you. Crawford defeating, Canelo Alvarez, that's still a great win, and it's a difficult win. But Canelo Alvarez done been on the decline for these last few years. So I'm going to say that defeating a prime Sugar Ray Leonard, well, it depends on what you consider Sugar Ray Leonard's prime being. But, it's safe to say, Sugar Ray Leonard was definitely on his shit when Roberto Duran beat him. Beating a prime Sugar Ray Leonard would definitely moving up 2 weight classes and defeating a youthful, sharp Sugar Ray Leonard, prime Sugar Ray Leonard will be more difficult than moving up 2 weight classes and defeating Canelo Alvarez, who is on the decline. That's just me though. Let me check this shit real quick. Manos de Piedra was a bad motherfucker. I agree. That's one of the greatest ever right there. You think Ray Leonard beats Floyd Roy on that shit heavy? Ray Leonard could definitely defeat Floyd. I wouldn't sleep on Floyd, but Sugar Ray could definitely beat Floyd. Sugar Ray Leonard Ray Leonard was different, bro. The hand speed, the combination punching, the dog, his conditioning. That was a 15-round fighter right there, bro. And he was extremely intelligent in the ring as well. Eddie Alvarez said Bud days running out till he gets exposed. So you think Canelo gonna expose Bud? Wait, my fault. I got distracted. You think Canelo gonna expose Bud? You said, but Bud went up significantly more in weight than Duran did, bro. The fight ain't even happened yet. Why you talking like this shit the past tense? My boy Mastermind on cloud 9 right now. Boy, off that dog food, thinking Bud beat Canelo. They ain't fight yet, sir. Come back down to earth, brother. You said Carnelo legs hurt. Canelo slow. Crawford slow compared to 135 Crawford. I mean, Cardenas, you definitely gonna slow down as you move up in weight, though, brother. If you expect the motherfucker at 154 or whatever the case is to be as fast as they was at 135, I don't know if you being practical in that situation. I don't know if you being fair. Yeah, coffee over here trying to put some bad juju on Bud. He talking about Bud hit the canvas. Shit. What? Bud wins, but can he get a fair decision is my question. That's another situation. That's a great point. Islam is the truth. That's another one because it seemed like Canelo Alvarez always seemed to had them judges in his good graces. I don't know what that's about. That boy failing drug tests. He always get them shaky scorecards going in his favor. Them judges be bailing him out when he in fights that he may have possibly lost. He got a split decision against Floyd when that was a fucking schooling session. I don't know, man. That first Triple G fight, they scored it a draw. I don't know. Canelo get a lot of love from them judges, bro. So I don't know if Bud could get a fair decision on that night. He said, "You on cloud nine?" He told me I'm on cloud nine. Okay. Yeah, it was CJ Ross anonymous. I think it was that they fired her ass after that. Floyd was in the ring like, what the fuck is this? He thought he was gonna lose, bro. I was cracking the fuck up, bro. Look at the panic on Floyd's face when he heard that 114, 114. He was like, what the he said, man, what the fuck is this? I was like, yo. I was like, what is going on? My heart sank because I was a big Floyd fan at that time. I was like, don't fucking tell me they about to get this shit to Canelo, bro. Woo. Go 787 said, no, Mazuma. I also believe that Canelo was sleep bud with the overhand right simply because he eats a lot of overhand rights. Shit. I'm going to tell you what, bro. Canelo beat Bud, I'm going to be a mad motherfucker, bro. Because then we going to have to give Canelo that credit for beating Bud if he beat him, bro. That's the thing. It's like, I'm not one of those guys who be talking about, like these dudes talking about, oh, Bud moving up 2 weight classes, but I think he gonna win. I think he gonna win. And then when he loses, you go, oh, well, he at least tried to be great. No, y'all had confidence that he was gonna win. He lost. You logically speaking, you got to give his opponent credit for beating him because you was confident in your choice. You said that Bud was gonna beat him convincingly. He didn't. So as a result of you doing that, you got to eat crow and give Canelo his credit. I don't want to give Canelo credit for that. I don't want to give him credit for that, but I might have no other choice but to. They out there arguing together. You said Mazuma don't bet your money unless it's going past 8.5 rounds. Bro, listen. If anybody watch this channel, they know that I'm terrible at betting, and I have yet to win a parlay to this day. I wish I was one of those dudes who put $50 in a parlay and leave with 100,000. I be seeing that shit happening online. I'm like, I wish, bro. I wish I could read the future. I mean, I'd be a rich motherfucker, bro. They gonna spin it and say he dared to be great. You know the script already. See, I could see that happening, but I think what's gonna happen more than anything is people bashing Bud. They're gonna make fun of Bud. Bud got a lot of haters, bro. So let's say he go out bad against Canelo, somehow, some way. Bro, they gonna fry him. Mazuma, you at 90% hit rate with big fights. And hit me up, bro. Hit me up, brother. Lock in with me and Tego FanDuel hate when we log in, bro. For real. Yo, my social media right there, brother. Get with me. Follow me on the first John. On Instagram right here. The third John. Mark.Mazuma, bro. Follow me, bro. Cause I ain't gonna lie. I had a couple of homies that be betting on the box and shit, but they always be losing. Bro, I fucking suck, bro. I suck at betting. Bro, I remember I almost won this parlay, bro. That shit would have given me like 10 racks, and I put like $20 in that joint. Tobias Harris fucked it up. Everybody got it right except Tobias. And Tobias, I think he only needed like 2 more boards to win the joint, and he didn't. I was fucking pissed. All right, bet. Follow my gram, y'all. Go 7-8. What up? G tatted up TV said, I remember Canelo saying Bud is a lose-lose situation because if he beats him, they're gonna say he was supposed to, but because Bud is a much smaller man, and if he loses, it looks really bad. I mean, that's a fact. But Canelo, he the type motherfucker that he'll say that one thing, but if the money right, he'll go against what he said. You feel me? So yeah, Tego, I follow you on Twitter too. But I don't really be on Twitter all like that. You know what I mean? I actually did I don't follow a lot of people on Twitter, bro. I'm actually going to delete that shit, to be real. I'm going to delete it. I'll probably delete it and make a new one. Who has Canelo beating a prime without any controversy? That's a good question. Austin Trout, maybe. Danny Jacobs. I don't know. Billy Joe. Caleb Plant. He beat Caleb Plant. Made Billy Joe retire. What Bud learned from a washed Porter? I wouldn't say Porter was washed. I just think that his heart wasn't in it no more. There's a difference. I feel like if you wash, that just means like your skills gone. Like Porter was there, but I just think mentally he was checked out. Like he just ain't want to do it no more. And I heard his father say that was like the first training camp where he didn't listen to his father and just did whatever he wanted. That just lets you know he was tapped out on some mental shit. He definitely wasn't washed though. He was giving Bud work. That's why niggas went to Bud corner and was like, yo, you losing this. And he was like, how? And he went and turned up and stopped Porter. Kenny said he was at a deficit fighting Bud. What that mean? What he mean by that? Like, I know what deficit mean. I wonder what he meant by that. T said Porter was my guy at 47 while everyone was a Bud and Spence fan. Porter definitely beat Spence in my eyes. Shouldn't have been lower than a draw. I think the knockdown decided it, bro. I thought it was close. I think the knockdown gave Earl the edge. Tim Bradley the one that told Bud he losing. See, you can't tell Bud something like that. That's the worst thing you like. If you Bud opponent, the worst thing that somebody could tell Bud is that he losing against you. Then you're gonna turn that nigga up to a whole different level. You know what Porter did real well in that fight? He did real well with turning off of the ropes, bro. Like Earl was applying that pressure, and Porter would be on the ropes. Then he would turn Spence against the ropes and let off a combination and get the better of, a few exchanges in that fight. He was good, but I think the reason why that fight was so close was because Earl, for one, wasn't listening to Derrick James. You know what I mean? He was feeling himself, thinking he could do whatever the fuck he wanted to do in the ring. He was already, that was around the time he was drinking, partying, and cutting corners in camp, running in sauna suits to make weight. He was on that stupid shit. So he was feeling himself and felt like he ain't had to listen to his coach. So he was over here fighting Sean Porter fight when he should have fought his fight, where he's jab first. You know what I mean? Creating combinations off of the jab, keeping the range, mixing his feints in there, stepping off of the line. Nah, he wanted to straight go, band for band with Porter, and that's like, why would you do that? That's some low IQ shit. How people give Bud credit for David A. but not Boots? I don't know, bro. I had no idea. Porter was boxing in spots too. No, Porter had skills. I was never a fan of his style though, but he was definitely elite. Go 787 said Fundora should be forced to unify with any champ or face Verge already because he ducking a lot of smoke. Yeah, bro, they moving real cautiously with that kid. They trying to keep them champions for as long as they can. They trying to keep them champion for as long as they can. They do not believe in his abilities against the elite guys, in my opinion. But let's see. He said, I ain't never heard nobody give Bud credit for David Evanesian as cap. Do you see Porter and Schofield's style? The athleticism and the explosiveness, maybe. You feel me? But I think Floyd Schofield, I think he's Sean Porter athleticism and his dog and his determination is who I think made him who he was. You know, his ability to take a shot, his durability, all that. They got some similarities, but I think Floyd Schofield was a bigger puncher, but Sean Porter may have been physically stronger. I don't know. They got some differences for sure. Gary Antoine mirrors Porter in some instances. In some instances, I think Gary. I think in that Rayo Venezuela fight, he showed he wasn't necessarily a Sean Porter. I think his offense a bit cleaner than Sean's, for real, for real. Yeah, Porter the type motherfucker, like, I'm not gonna say he was a gatekeeper, but like he was a measuring stick for the other champions. He really showed you whether you was Porter was a good fight to really show these champions where they was at. You feel me? Rayo ain't that good. I mean, he ain't, but he was a world champion. He defeated Isaac Cruz when he was champion. And that man beat Rolly. So it's like, I mean, he put on a great display of boxing and showed a smart, disciplined game plan against Isaac Cruz and outclassed him, outboxed him. I heard another channel saying that the upcoming Boots fight in Philly, the tickets are as low as $30. Have you heard anything close to that? Well, if you getting $30 seats, you better believe you're gonna have the shittiest seats in the arena. From what I saw when I was looking at the pre-sale, I think the cheapest tickets that was available was like $70. But that was nosebleed Jones. And I personally feel like if you're going to buy nosebleed seats, bro, you might as well just sit back and watch it at home because you're going to be watching the fight from the Jumbotron any fucking way. You know what I mean? But I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love. You feel what I mean? If y'all could go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, that'd be very much appreciated. Shout out to the nation and the mob. We definitely in the building. We on the road to 4K. You feel what I mean? About to hit that 3,200 mark in due time. Like I said, man, if you guys are able to vote for my son Micah, that'd be very much appreciated. You see what I mean? This is the link right here for those of y'all who want to come through and support. Vote for my son Micah, man. He just cracked the top 10 in the international competition for Tyler of the Year. He's been getting a shit ton of support, but it'll be even better if he gets the support from y'all. You feel what I'm saying? So go ahead, vote for my son if y'all can, man. Especially if y'all got Facebook accounts, it's free. It don't cost you anything. It just takes a couple seconds of your time. So, you know what I mean? I hope y'all have a blessed, beautiful one. I'll be back at y'all with another live tomorrow to currently discuss what's going on in the sport of boxing. Until then, y'all have a blessed, beautiful one, man. Peace.